Hey yogis, welcome. I'm Lorelai. This is Namasturm Yoga. Join me for a short stretch sequence. So today's stretch sequence I'm kind of thinking of as something you might do after a workout. I know we all know we're supposed to stretch when we're done working out, but sometimes we kind of just skip that. So I just wanted to guide you through something that I think can get all of our muscle groups stretched after we've worked them out so that we really feel good after our exercise. So let's start off really simple. Like this is the most basic thing I can think of in a runner's lunge. So let's just take the right foot forward, left foot back. This is going to be a little, yoga focused, right? So with a hint of yoga as we stretch. So this is our high lunge. We want to have the right knee over the ankle. I think the alignment here is really important because that's going to support this front joint. But the back leg, we can really stretch it out. So we're getting into the hips, but we're also actually elongating the hamstring back there as well. And then just reach the head forward. Nice and easy. Make sure you're breathing here as well. Get some oxygen to those muscles by inhaling, exhaling. And we do need to hold these stretches for them to actually kind of take effect. So we will try not to rush, even though we won't spend a ton of time. Let's go ahead. We're going to keep the lunge. Take your left hand down to the floor and just take the right arm up so we can actually twist our upper body. I'm all for multitask stretches, right? So we can kind of get two parts of ourselves as well. So if you're working the upper body at all, sometimes we stretch our legs but forget that we need to open our chest, stretch our arms as well. Turn open to the ceiling as best you can. All right, and then let's go ahead and take that down. Let's also now lower the back knee, and this is going to be a slightly different stretch. Bring your hands to your front thigh. This is a low lunge. Sink the hips forward. And now let's take the hands behind the head. Cradle your head, lean it back, widen the elbows, lift the heart. All right, and then coming back up with your head, bring your fingertips to the floor, and now let's go ahead and straighten out that front leg. So as you do this, your left hip should come over your left knee, but it's not going to be so far back that it's over your back heel. And then from here, we can keep the toes down or we can pull the toes back, and let's actually go back and forth between those two to kind of get into the calf and ankle a little bit. Pushing the toes down, pulling the toes back. If you have a hard time having your hands on the floor here, you can use blocks or something underneath your hands, right? So if your hamstrings are pretty tight, that may be the case. And then we're going to end up with the toes up, the foot flexed, and we're just going to let ourselves fold. This is Ardha Hanumanasana, or half split, but obviously you can feel it's a great hamstring stretch. As you're folding, think about moving your right leg back or maybe your right hip crease back so that you're really pulling the leg deeply into the socket. Folding down, make sure you're breathing again. And then let's slide the right heel back, bring the knees under us, and just drop to a simple child's pose, hips to heels, arms out, and then with the arms out, flip your palms up, and then we're going to bend the elbows and let the forearms come up and the hands rest on the shoulders, forehead down. This is actually a really gentle stretch for triceps. All right, come on up, and we're going to do all of that for the left leg. So find your way to stepping the left foot forward. Set it up so your knee's over the ankle. So it might take a second to really set this up so that you're well aligned. Tuck your right toes so that you can straighten out that back leg, and then the hands can just stay on the ground. Reach through the back heel, so stretch it out. The more you push through the back heel, the more you can actually get that calf muscle a little bit as well as the whole back leg, and then sinking the hips low to get into those hips, especially that front leg. It's a good runner's lunge. And then we're just gonna add on to this stretch. So we're not losing what's going on in the legs, but let's plant the right palm, take the left arm up for a nice easy twist here. So easy twist, the form, the basic form is shoulders stack and you just face to the side, keeping the front knee over the ankle. But if you want to twist it open a little more, feel free to let the top arm lean back so you can kind of get a stretch across your chest, across that the front of the left shoulder. Maybe let your head tilt back and look up. Keep that back leg strong. And then unrotate, right? Lower the right knee down. Extend your back foot. Come up for the low lunge. So we're still sinking the hips forward towards the front heel so we can get that back quad. Bring your hands behind your head, widen your elbows, lift your heart. All right, and then fingertips to the floor. We're gonna straighten the front leg. So we're bringing the right hip over the knee. Left toes are down, and then we're just gonna go back and forth, rocking to your heel, pull the toes back towards you, and then let the toes come down, pointing. So it's like a point and flex that we're doing here with the heels staying in place. So you might feel like you're rocking back and forth a little bit. Yup, you are. And then the last one, we want to let the toes remain up, and you might slide your heel a little further forward and then fold over the left leg. Just a reminder, we're trying to draw that left leg deeper into the left hip socket. So what that is doing really is squaring off the hips, but it helps us to keep the engagement of the oppositional muscles and keep things aligned so that we're really targeting what we want here. Fold and breathe. All right, and then sliding your left knee back to meet the right. Root down with the hands. We're gonna come to downward facing dog. So push down, lift up, hips up, heart back. From here, we're in down dog. Let's take the right leg up, open the hip and bend the knee, and we're gonna bring our knee forward for a short little pigeon stretch. So I think it can be really beneficial to get into hips here. So knee behind wrist, use the left toes to walk the left leg back. Come onto the top of the thigh, and then let's see if we can actually come up, and we're gonna do a little arm stretch. So see if you can find your balance here, and this might be a challenge in the first place. Not a bad challenge, but like just see what you can do. Take the arms up, and then we're gonna bend the left elbow and grab hold of it with the right hand, and just pull a little bit over to the side if you can. If this is too much, do what you need to do. We're gonna fold down in just a moment. But we're challenging our balance here, and now you can let that go and then just folding down. Hands to the floor, forearms to the floor, maybe head to the floor, however deep you're able to go. Let's take about 5 breaths here. Should feel this in the right hip or glute area. And then walk the hands back, come up, and we're gonna stretch the back quad. So supporting yourself with the right fingers, bend your left knee behind you, find your foot, draw your heel in. So if you're someone who can't reach their foot, right? So if you're like this and you just, like they won't meet, put your leg back on the ground, and then you can just start using your hands to bring the torso more upright. So kind of like we were before, but you're still getting the stretch for that front quad. If you're able to pull the heel in, it's gonna be a deeper stretch, but we only need a deeper stretch if our body needs a deeper stretch, right? So you should be able to feel whether that's you or whether You're already getting enough stretch just by being upright. All right, we're gonna let that go. Step back to downward facing dog. Shake out the right leg or kick through the heel. Left leg up, open the hip and bend the knee. So these are stretches that I would recommend doing after your body's already warmed up. So they're going a little deeper. Let's bring the left knee forward, behind the left wrist, shin across the mat. Use your right toes to walk your right leg back. Get on the top of the thigh. Once the muscles are warm, we can stretch them. They're a little more pliable. We want to be careful that we're not overstretching them, but it does give us an opportunity. It really is the best time to stretch after we've been working out and we've got a little heat in our body. Now remember, trying to bring yourself upright and stabilize if you can. And if this is too much, you might not be able to do this. You could just go right to that fold and get the hip opener. Let's take the right arm up, bend the elbow, grab the elbow with the left hand, and just a little pull over to get that arm stretched. And you can maybe stretch along the whole side of the body a bit here as well. And then we're gonna let that go. Walk the hands down, folding, take about 5 breaths here. Come up. Move to stretching your right quad, so bend the knee behind you, draw the heel in towards your hip. Try to mirror what you did on the first side. So if you needed to modify the first side, feel free to do that here as well. We really want to feel this along the front of the right quad. That's the muscle we're targeting. All right, let that go. Hands to the floor. Come back to down dog, and if you want to shake out your legs or kick through the heels, you might choose to do so. All right, let's walk the feet forward. We're going to come to a seat. We're going to do one more hip opener. So walk the feet out, and this time we're going to cross the left ankle onto the right thigh. Actually, let's do that right foot first because we did that side first for the pigeon. So right ankle onto the left thigh, and then with the hands, actually, we're going to slide the left heel in, but another thing we want to do is stretch this arm. So slide the left foot in, move your chest towards your shin, but then we're also going to bring the right arm in front of us and then bring the left arm to kind of hold that and then lean forward. And you might be able to kind of hook your elbow on your ankle to kind of do both, moving your heart towards your shin and then your arm in to get a stretch for that arm. If this feels awkward, do your best. And then we're just going to release that and switch sides. So left or right leg out, left ankle is going to come onto the thigh. Do your best to kind of slide your right foot in, but I'm using the traction of my mat to like keep that foot in place, and then left arm across, pull it in with the right, and then lean forward. And for me, I like to be able to kind of hook my right elbow onto my left ankle to kind of keep me stable here so I'm not just falling. Okay, carefully release that. And then let's take Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees wide, heels in towards the hips, and lean in. So now we're getting into these hip flexors. Let your knees drop as your upper body folds. Maybe walking the hands out a little bit. Breathe here. If you want to stretch your shoulders and potentially go deeper, take the hands behind the back, interlace your fingers, pull your shoulder blades onto the back, and then let the arms reach up and over. This is actually going to work kind of like a lever to move your torso down. But, be mindful. If this isn't working for you, don't worry about it, but you can also get a good shoulder stretch here as well. Again, like a multitask, but if they don't work together for you, just do one. and then come on up. And last thing, really simple seated forward fold. So take the legs out, maybe give them a little shake, and then engage your quads, flex your feet, reach the arms up on an inhale, and exhale, fold on down. This is going to get the entire back of the leg. Keep the foot flexed so that that happens a little more effectively. Keep the quads toned as well, but the upper body can release. Now you might choose to use your hands on your feet and give yourself just like a gentle encouragement, but we don't want to try to pull or yank. If the muscles are feeling tight, be really gentle with them. We do want them to stretch, but they're not going to stretch if we just try to force it. They're actually going to resist. So we want to kind of feel like, where's the resistance and how can we just ride that line and go with our body as it begins to release. We fold deeper as opposed to trying to push yourself deeper in an attempt to get it to release, because it doesn't work real well that way. Forward folds are also designed to be nice and calming, so it's a great way to finish up a yoga practice, a workout, anything like that, and kind of just come to a quiet sense of completion. All right, and then bring yourself back up. Give your shoulders and your legs a little shimmy shake. All right, thank you so much. I hope this was helpful for you. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy doing yoga practices. My most common style is a vinyasa style flow. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked this stretch. And that's it. I hope you'll join me next time. Bye-bye.